This weekend marks the 10th annual Chamber of Commerce Fair, running from May 23rd to 25th, which means that council reports are dominated by the various goings-on about town. This includes the core midway, family activities, and food trucks at the agricultural grounds, as well as a town-wide yard sale and color run on Saturday the 24th, and the Spring Fever bike races on Sunday the 25th. Further on in the town's summer calendar, there will be a town-wide cleanup effort on May 30th. As well, the pool is expected to open to the public on June 2nd, with new chairs and loungers donated by Rotary The New Wave.
Deputy Mayor Parrott.
Well, I'm sure most of the town knows we had a major water main break. I'll let Denise do the big description, but what I would like to do is thank the teams that came to help out. We had remarkable attendance by 2 contractors to remedy our situation, and town staff who stepped up to the plate and made what could have been a terrible disaster bearable. So just thank you to all the contractors that were involved and the town staff, and to the community at large for not hoarding water. As a result, we were able to maintain water for the town of Neepawa until the repairs were done.
Exactly. Okay, anyone else? Councillor Sisson?
So I've got a couple things. One is about this upcoming weekend, which is a fairly big weekend in Neepawa. We have the Chamber Fair, which runs May 23rd to 25th. Check Neepawa Chamber of Commerce social media for details on that. It's the last chance to sign up for the townwide yard sale, which will take place Saturday, May 24th. Maps of all the sales will be available on the Town of Neepawa social media and at the town office. And then on Sunday is the Spring Fever bike race out at the High Life Back 40. The sign up for a shift at Spring Trails Cleanup Day, May 30th, 2025. So you can sign up for that as well. See details on neepawarecreation.ca. June 2nd, the pool is planning to open to the public, weather dependent. But yeah, so that'll be exciting to have the pool open. And thank you to Neepawa New Wave Rotary for the donation of the brand new loungers for the Neepawa swimming pool.
Good, thanks a lot. Anyone else? Councillor Liddell?
Went to a couple meetings, but I think the one thing to report on was a Justice Committee meeting that I went to, and the highlight was Councillor Yvonne Sisley here was recognized for her years of service on the Justice Committee, and just her, her appreciation, so just something to know.
Mayor Brian Headley shares a rundown of the efforts conducted by the town council and town staff in preparing to staff the new hospital. This includes seeking out training opportunities and renovating the training center in what used to be the RCMP headquarters, and meeting with multiple levels of government and healthcare organizations regarding recruitment and retention of healthcare workers. Of particular note are efforts to reduce barriers for internationally educated doctors and nurses. Approximately 150 new positions are expected as a result of the hospital, which is currently expected to open in 2026.
A bit of a community update. So perhaps it's timely to give the community a bit of an update regarding some of the activities that staff and council have been pursuing to assist with the staffing of the new hospital. Training, it's anticipated that the staffing component for the new hospital will result in the creation of an estimated 150 net new positions. As a result, actions have been taken to pursue training opportunities that could be offered from Neepawa. While not a complete list, some of the actions to date are renovating the old RCMP building to create a training center. This facility opened in 2024 with the hosting of the Licensed Practical Nursing Program, or LPN. A second intake for the LPN program will return to Neepawa in January 27th. Excuse me, as part of the Rural Rotating Site Program. Currently in discussions with the province, Assiniboine Community College, and other training providers to determine what kind of training is possible between the LPN sessions. The period of time lay roughly running from September 2025 to December of 2026. So options to date lead us to believe that sessions that can be completed within a 1-year time frame will be most valuable, such as condensed version of medical administration or perhaps English classes for students to improve their skills. Then with recruitment and retention, while it's true that Neepawa is not facing a severe shortage of doctors like is happening in many rural communities in Manitoba, we recognize that greater attention needs to be given to recruiting doctors and nurses, and that the recruitment will become even more important the closer we get to opening the new hospital. While not a complete list, the following are some of the current activities that we've been participating in and exploring. Met with the Beautiful Plains Community Medical Clinic Recruitment and Retention Committee to discuss actions that will facilitate a successful recruitment. Met with local doctors to better understand the recruitment and retention process from their perspective. Met with the physician recruitment and retention coordinator from Prairie Mountain Health regarding recruitment initiatives and to understand the effectiveness of various recruitment initiatives. Met with the Minister of Labor and Immigration to discuss recruitment and retention from the perspective of removing barriers for internationally educated nurses or international medical graduates, doctors. We met with the Ministers of Advanced Education and Health, Seniors, and Long-Term Care to propose and discuss partnerships that will support and facilitate training to discuss recruitment and retention. We've advocated for the new vocational school and daycare, which will be essential to providing additional training opportunities for the community. Much needed daycare, which has been clearly identified as a recruitment hurdle. Met with the town of Carberry to gather information on the success of their Health Action Committee, which will be useful as we continue to work through organizing Neepawa in a similar fashion. Hosted an information session to assist international educated nurses residing in our community with registering for the required training program. And finally participated in University of Manitoba academic session with the U of M resident doctors to share information about what Neepawa has to offer. And we have a lot more ongoing programs in the next coming months and events that we'll be attending as well. So there's quite a bit of work being done by the council and staff in that area.
Of course, the big news of the week is the water main break that took place on the Saturday evening of the long weekend. Manager of Operations Denise Kay takes us through the timeline of when and where the event happens and the steps taken to remedy it. Water service was restored to the treatment plant within 25 hours. To put that in perspective, Sakay says that a planned outage of the same scope would have taken him and his staff weeks, if not months, of planning. While some residents might be wondering if the town-wide order to limit water use was an overreaction, Sakay also indicates that under ordinary usage patterns, with no new water being produced, the town would have run out by Sunday morning. Instead, it lasted until Sunday evening when repairs were completed. He considers the town lucky in that it was a long weekend and the High Life pork processing plant wasn't in full operation, but all efforts to reduce usage made a critical difference. At the time full service was restored, he estimates we were within a couple of hours of running out of treated water, which would have triggered a boil water advisory that could potentially have lasted in excess of a week. In non-water related operations updates, the windstorm last weekend toppled a few trees that staff have been dealing with and scattered garbage and particularly recycling from overturned bins. As well, the street sweeper is currently being repaired, but Sakay hopes to have it back out doing some spring street cleaning very soon.
So I guess we're going to go over the big excitement over the weekend is that we had a water break on our raw water line. So that would be the intake coming into the water treatment plant. So there was no risk to the public this compromising our potable water source, and this was the water that is pre-treatment. This occurred Saturday about 5 o'clock. We were our staff notified or noticed it, and then 6 o'clock we noticed it. series of events is that we followed through with it pretty quick, knowing and realizing how severe it was and the location of the break. So we implemented several stages right off the bat, calling contractors in, starting excavation, and immediately proceeding with proposed repairs. And series of times to get there. So about 6 o'clock I got on site. Between 6:30 and 8 o'clock we had all contractors mobilized on site. By about 10:30 p.m. that evening, we kind of determined what the cause of the failure was. It was a high pressure break that destroyed one of our T connections coming in there. Our contractor managed to locate the parts in Winnipeg. At the same time, we were notified of another potential second break. With hunches in place, we speculated the parts we need for that repair as well, so that we could commence repairs as soon as possible. So one of the contractors drove to Winnipeg that evening, returned about 3:30 a.m., where we proceeded, again, we had most of the stuff all excavated while that gentleman left. And by the time they came back, we had everything ready for them to start mock-up. By 6:55, we did our first test fit of the repair components. And by 6:43, we started excavating on the second break. By 9 o'clock-ish, I believe we had the first break repaired, and then continued working and focusing on the second break. I believe that one was about 1:30 p.m. Why the headache and why the fear is that we had no means to make any water. None whatsoever. A shutdown of this magnitude would usually take weeks, if not months, of planning, and we would have had all our reservoirs full, and we would have overfilled with the design options we built on the reservoir. We can overfill that sucker, so it's over capacity, so we can draw out a longer period of time. Were we lucky? Absolutely. The timing of High Life not running, a lot of businesses, long weekend, we actually kind of noticed that people were away as well. Went through everything. We made a decision to start notifying and issue water rationing immediately, just because we did not know if we'd be able to repair things in sufficient time. Early speculations were that we'd be running out of water by Sunday morning, early morning, if this was a typical usage day that everyone had conceded with. So businesses were contacted, businesses were happy to oblige, we contacted everyone when it came down to it. So people thought we're overreacting. It was a case to overreact on. A lot of staff were brought in, worked throughout the night, and within by 25 hours of the break happening, we had water flowing back into the water plant and started treating process again. So all in all, we really dodged a near disaster with probably an hour, maybe or two of water left within our reservoirs. So I really have to thank the public. When we said ration your water, don't hoard it, they listened, and it shows. We could definitely tell. Because our early numbers, like I said, we'd be out in the morning, and then we're like early afternoon, and then by the time we made it to 5, 6 p.m. and still had water. Really appreciate that. Because if we had lost full pressure in the community, then the entire community would have been on boil water. And then that's weeks, at least a week of reestablishing clean water to the community.
Yeah, no, that was a tremendous job. To think that you can do a turnaround like that in 24 hours, that's pretty amazing, especially on a long weekend.
I wouldn't have bet that we could have done that.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, the other thing too is the foresight for the planning for the reservoir also was, that was tremendous.
Didn't have
Stuff like
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we made a different pickle if we didn't have that need reservoir. So that was that excitement. Again, thanks to all the staff, contractors that showed up. They worked very hard throughout the night. There wasn't much of a break for 25 hours. So now that that's done, other stuff we did. Unfortunately, we still have some equipment breakdowns that we're dealing with. Dominion lift station is not running at optimal service right now, so we've got our consultants and our contractors working on that one. Hopefully, we'll have that guy in full capacity within the week. We've had some ongoing machinery downs, so unfortunately, street sweeping has been kind of halted right now, and that's because our street sweeper is broken. So again, we have our mechanics are coming down to go and service that and see what they can do to determine what the fault on that one is. The Hamilton Street project, also known as the Industrial Park, the land drainage sewer is ongoing. Our contractors are making good progress on that. But more importantly, we've managed to issue the paving tender. So SBC did get that posted last week, and that is out. Isabel Street, I was in discussions with Hydro, and that plan is a go. They've actually started dropping off some of the conduit tubes, so that work will be progressing hopefully in the near future. And amongst a bunch of little things that we're working on, but that windstorm did wreak havoc, and that's probably the main cause of this fault. We lost communication, so.
So was there many trees let down in the community?
Yes.
There was.
Yeah, we lost
2 or 3 in the cemeteries.
3 big ones in the cemetery on the streets. I think we lost 2 big ones that interfered with traffic and took some time to clean up. Also, obviously, the big mess and garbage and recycling blowing around, so we'll have seasonal staff that have been cleaning up. Prior to that, we'll go back around again and try to clean it up again.
There's nothing preventing the public from helping.
Yeah.
That's true, and I did notice some areas were cleaned up by the public, so yes, it definitely shows.
The town received correspondence this week from the Neepawa's Got Pride Committee, advising them of the date that they will be repainting the Pride sidewalk in front of Arts Forward, as well as requesting that the town fly the Pride flag at Riverbend Park during the month of June. Manager of Operations Sakay advises that he will be able to supply the flags. The town also hears from the Minister of Municipal and Northern Relations regarding the 2025 Municipal Operating Grant and additional provincial GROW payment. Overall, the town is expecting a little over $656,000 spread over 2 payments. CEO Colleen Sinchishin also reminds residents that nominations for the vacant town council seat will be accepted from June 4th to 10th during regular business hours. Any interested community members are urged to seek more information and nomination forms at the town office. The by-election is scheduled for July 16th.
The first thing I have is from Neepawa Area Pride, 2 different pieces of correspondence. The first one requesting that council consider allowing the Pride flag at Riverbend Park for the month of June again this year. And the second one just basically thanking for the support and promoting a little bit the fact that they are going to spruce up the Pride sidewalk that was painted in Arts Forward on Sunday, June 8th, and then a little bit later on the year, on September 14th, they will celebrate Neepawa's Got Pride events. So just very appreciative of the support. So if you're acceptable to flying the flag again, do they give us the flag or?
We supply.
We supply.
Yeah.
And the other one is from the Minister of Municipal and Northern Relations. It's the 2025 Municipal Operating Grant and the One Manitoba GROW Revenue Fund payment that is new, and a little bit about reporting requirements. So the first payment of the town of Neepawa's 2025 Municipal Operating Grant and the full payment of the new monies that are coming in as going to be directly deposited into our account. The first 75% of $492,083.37 is coming forward right away. Our total grant, though, would at the end of the year be $656,000 roughly, and we will get $52,500 extra for this new revenue fund that they're sourcing up. So they're going to put that in our account, which will be gratefully appreciated. And just to mention that, of course, the 2024 audits are due June 30th under the Municipal Act, but you're going to notice on your agenda, we finally have the 2023 audit. Our auditor has been a little bit behind lately, so he's planning on coming out and getting started on the 24 right away. So hopefully we can speed things up.
Okay, any questions? Okay, so that brings us right into approving that year-end audit. Be it resolved that we approve the audited financial statements for the year ending December 31st, 2023, as presented by Chambers Fraser, moved by Councillor Nadeau, seconded by Councillor Gerard, all in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Just one thing, the election is scheduled for the by-election for July 16th. Nominations will be opened June 4th, 5th, and 6th, 9th, and 10th.
I have spoken with a few members of the community who are looking for putting names forward, so I'm hoping there's a full slate of candidates for that. It'd be great to have another voice at the table, so whatever, yeah.
Also covered were a pair of public hearings for uncontested setback variances, second reading of the tax levy bylaws, and the regular financial reports. The Neepawa Town Council will be meeting only once per month during July and August. You can view end-to-end coverage of the council meeting elsewhere in the NETV schedule or on our YouTube channel. If you have any comments or questions about these items or other topics related to the municipal government, please contact us at 204-476-2639 or by email at nectvnews@gmail.com. Thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you next time.